Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. It is the start of Heal Myself First, Heal My Family, and Heal My Nation. This is going to be an exciting 28-week program. And at the end of it, you will not be the same person. Your family will not be the same, and neither will your nation, because it's very, very important that we look at healing ourselves first before we can assist anybody else along the healing journey. So, welcome to everyone who is on, and to those who are going to be listening to it at other times. I know this timing is not convenient for a lot of persons, and so we have decided that you will be able to get recording within 24 hours, and if we have a glitch, 48 hours of the actual broadcast, so that you can really sit and listen to it. I want to remind you that the objective of this program is to really heal those three entities: myself first, then my family, and then my nation. So, in order to heal the nation, then you have to engage the other groupings within the nation. And so, we ask that everyone who comes on the program gets together with a group of persons. It could be just your family, or it could be your church family, it could be your badminton group, it could be your workmates, whoever is interested in healing themselves and healing their family and their nation. And so we are going to be looking at the theory of all the different topics that we cover in the broadcast. We will also be telling you what to do for your practicum. And clearly, if we are going to be doing something to plant or to reap or to do any physical activity that requires sunlight, we would be able to do it on the broadcast, but we would give you all the directives and directions as to how to achieve it. So we are asking you to get together a group and put aside 3 hours every week. This is a tertiary level program. However, it is delivered so that a child can understand, or anyone who has zero formal education can do just as well as those who have 3, 4, 5 degrees. So get your groups together and be able, so that you are able to share and to do your practicum at another time. We also encourage persons to gather in churches, other charities, NGOs, communities, or any grouping that can benefit from this program. This program has been run every year for quite a while, probably since 2017. And before that, at different points as requested by different organizations. However, Kingdom Shift Now intends to have this as the last series being run in a public space, because it's going to be recorded, and anyone who wants this information will get the recorded version moving forward. unless we are engaged to do it for your specific organization. So take advantage of this. Okay, just to give you an outline of the course, it is 28 weeks covering 7 topics, and each topic is covered in 4 weeks. The format is one of coaching, and the recipient has the responsibility of applying all the principles to themselves and then their families, so that we can get the healing process engaging 3 generations. We encourage you to have children, adults, and grandparents, at least 3 generations, because the effectiveness of any kind of training in any situation needs 3 generations to be impactful, because we all interrelate to those who are older than us and those who are younger than us. And their involvement is essential for us to not just pass on information to a younger person, but to recognize that all information is evolving, and the application to different age groups will be a little bit different. And we all need to be aware of what applies and how it is viewed by older persons and by younger persons, because it all will be different. The other thing that we want to sort of emphasize at this point is that each application is going to be individual. We are unique beings, and what applies to one person will not necessarily apply to another. And so we encourage those who are on any program that we're doing to, I am seeing a person on my screen. Thank you. We're encouraging persons to apply the material to themselves and give us feedback so that we can tweak it and show you how to make it absolutely relevant to you. So it doesn't matter what circumstances you're in, the principles that we share will have application to everybody who comes on the session or listens to the sessions. Okay, so I'm going to list the 7 topics. The first one is called My Self-Healing Body. And it has to do with healing, not just your body, but your body, soul, and spirit. Because whatever occurs in your body is intrinsically connected to your soul and your spirit. So your body cannot be healed without the other 2 facets. The second segment is healing the earth. And of course, we have been told to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth so that the earth can sustain us. And as a result of that, we need to heal the earth. Because if we heal our bodies and then the earth is still poisoned, then we are going to recontaminate our bodies. So healing the earth is the second. Month 2. Month 3, we look at the issue of productivity. Unless we produce from our own resources, there can never be any control of our resources. We must produce or have the capacity or know how to produce everything that we need from our own resources. And it may be we need to know how to do it. I think I have planted and grown every fruit, vegetable, nut, seed, peas, bean, grain, tree that grows in Jamaica. I just got a list of them and just planted all of them. 1 of some, 10 of some, 500 of some, whatever, at least once. I will not do it again, but I know how to plant everything and what conditions they need to grow. And we need to have a body of knowledge that we not only can choose what is best for us, but we can also help others choose what is best for them. So being able to produce everything for ourselves is an essential one-time activity. Then you will be able to also isolate what you prefer and the effects of what you produce on yourself and others. Productivity, very, very important. How to move things up the value added scale. Because once you move up the value added scale, every time you add value, you add profitability to your time. And you get a greater return on the investment of your time and your resources. Now, one of the features of this program is that there is no financing. Nothing must be purchased. Only from the profits of what has been already done do we recommend that you purchase anything. Everything else is foraged or transferred to you in knowledge that you can apply to yourself immediately. Number 4 has to do with, we start with a contribution to the nation there. Because everything before that was for yourself and your family. And here we're looking at basically circular economies and GDP. And that has to do with gross domestic product of the nation. However, we concentrate on learning how to have the distribution of the wealth. Because in most countries, 90% of the wealth is controlled by less than 5% of the population. And that we are going to change. All those who have come on the program have increased the distribution of the wealth or have gone into the category of those who control the wealth. You must be in total control of all your wealth, all your resources. You must be able to control your real estate. You must be able to control whether you own it or not. you must control it. Your source of water, source of food, your forestry, your earth minerals, and your energy sources. That's all you need to control. And then you will control your health, your wealth, and your mindset. So that's a sort of an outline of up to number 4. Number 5, 1, 2, 3, productivity. 4, circular economies, GDP. 5, we're going to look at the issue of financial intelligence. And that is real financial intelligence. And just to do an aside, when we look at that, we are going to also have our special yearly program on Every Child an Entrepreneur, where we focus, and we do this during May, on making every child who comes on the program or is a part of a family here an entrepreneur. And of course, entrepreneur is the only big word that we use in that whole program, where we break down and show anybody what is an asset, what is a liability, how do you make profit, what are your expenses, what are your overheads, how do you run a successful business from day one. We're not into sinking money into a business and hope that it breaks even in 3 years. That's not our protocol. Day one, because you are putting in the time, you are foraging for your raw materials, and as many of your overheads as you can also forage for, and your other materials and expenses. Those have got to be, there will be a contribution from you, but no money put out outside of what you would be normally spending. So it's a novel concept there. And 6th class is on answering the questions of why, where, when, and how. And this has to do with your passion, using your passion, your personal passion, to drive your purpose. Why were you placed on this earth? What were you sent here to do? And once you're able to find that, and we have so many methodologies for each individual to find their purpose, because it's pretty easy when you know how, then you will be able to align yourself with the purpose that the Creator put you in this Earth's atmosphere at this time for a specific purpose. And you'll be able to see it, understand it, and align with it. That's number 6. And number 7 is, how are you going to share and coordinate with all the groups that you are a part of? That means if you are a part of a community or a nation, this is where we look at national destiny. This is where we look at organizational purpose. That's when you have already empowered yourself, is when you start to join with other organizations. We do not recommend that you start with community. You start as families that are operating as families within a community, and you can start in a big group, it doesn't matter, but you've got to keep the control of what you are putting into place initially as family. And when you have the family strong, then you can go into the larger group. Because then each person is bringing something to the table. And there will not need to be any issues of the contribution of each party. So those are our 7. And so today we're going to be looking at 3 topics. First of all, my self-healing body. And secondly, next week we will look at immunology, the principles of immunology. And the following week we will look at the principles of disease reversal. That's week 3. And then week 4, we will look at cellular health maintenance. And during the month, you will have the opportunity of growing everything that you need to have at least starting them as seedlings, everything you need to have a family pharmacy. And that's a FARMASEE. So you will be farming what you need to put in your pharmacy. And at the end of the month, you will have in the ground everything you need for all the issues that we have unearthed in the immunology, in the cellular health maintenance, and in the disease reversal process. That's how easy it is, right? And this is why everybody has to engage. You'll have your family pharmacy. You'll also have your family clinic, which means that you have to have at least one day a week or one day a month, whatever you need, where the family comes together and looks at all their challenges and how you are going to get over them. So it's just really quite a dynamic and fast paced, but easy to do, because we're not going to be looking at any technical approaches. It's going to be just layman's terms and just really enjoyable, easy lifestyle changes. Okay, wonderful. So let's look at our self-healing body. What is a self-healing body? A self-healing body is one that has within its mechanism cells, organs, and systems that protect you, that cleanse you, that repair you, and that replace what is going wrong. And this is done in a cyclical manner of 24 hours. Everything runs on a 24-hour cycle. And we recognize that we are body, soul, and spirit. So when we look at an individual, there can be no separation of body, soul, and spirit. So whenever we talk about the body, we are talking about the body in community with the soul and the spirit. When we talk about the soul, we will talk about the soul in community with the spirit and the body. And when we talk about the spirit, we will talk about the spirit as aligned with our Creator's Spirit, and therefore directing the Creator's capacities to the soul and the body. So that trilogy is something we always need to be aware of. You can't do something in or to or with your body that does not engage the spirit and soul. It's indivisible, right? So when we look at a self-healing body, we're looking at those concepts. We are spirit. I am a spirit. I live in a body. My spirit lives in this body. Where does it live? It encapsulates my total body, but the center is in your belly. And your belly incorporates all those organs that are, let's say, in the whole cavity from below your neck to. Well, why am I saying this about where your spirit is? Because it's important for you to be able to focus and recognize. The word says, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water or life-giving streams. So that is where we need to focus on. Now, some people call it the microbiome, they call it the second brain, the da 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 da. For purposes of this exercise, we are going to call it the enteric nervous system. The ENTERIC, enteric nervous system. And we're going to be looking at all our systems when we come on, because every system is connected to another system and moves in tandem with the other systems. And so whenever we are looking at a challenge, a healthy challenge, we cannot look at one system alone. And if there is a challenge in your knee, you cannot look to fix the challenge from the knee. You've got to analyze, how did that challenge get to the knee? What are the contributory factors? And this is what we will be learning when we look at Immunology 101 and Principles of Disease Reversal. Learning to dig for and direct your attention to cause is the foundation of this whole program. Whatever area we are looking at, we need to always go back to cause. The word also says that there is no curse without a cause. So if sickness is a curse, right? And it's not a curse that somebody says out there and pops on you like an Obia woman and says, you are cursed. No, it is a curse that is caused by iniquity or sin, or both. And here I am using iniquity in the understanding of iniquity from, it could be a generational issue, it could be a genetic predisposition. It is something that is coming down the line, probably for generations, and it may be an iniquity in the locality, in the nation, whatever. It is not a personal thing. It is a communal thing and usually generational. And then I'm looking at sin as a personal, not meeting the mark of our Creator. And you don't have big sin and little sin. You have that which separates you from what is best for you. And so we always have to look and say, okay, let's look at contributory factors. Let's look at what really started this all off. And the issue of a self-healing body is, first of all, understanding and getting to know your body. So one of the things I'm going to be looking at today is body systems, right? And I'm going to ask Sir Wayne to give me a half an hour prompt. Whenever I've done half an hour, please tell me, because I'm not seeing my time here. Oops, would you believe it? I'm 7:39. Okay. So I've gone the first half an hour and the second half an hour. Right? Give me a prompt, because after that we're going to look at questions. So we're going to be looking at body systems. So when you look at a self-healing body, we're looking at, for purposes of this exercise, 7 body systems. And the body systems are the enteric nervous system, which is where everything starts, where you are living from your gut, meaning that the spirit of the Creator speaks to you in your gut, your belly bottom. And that is where, so that out of your belly can flow rivers of living water. And we want people to become in tune with their gut feelings and so that they can align with what is coming from the Creator. Now, everybody alive has gut feelings, right? You walk into somewhere and you say, I don't like this environment. Or, maybe I shouldn't go my usual route today. It's not anything that has any logic, but it is essential for us to just listen and follow. Because that is what aligns, not just aligns with our Creator, but remember that truth is in our inward parts. Inside our gut is all truth. And anytime I am doing something that is incorrect, my gut tells me. Every time. And this is not just for me, it's for everybody. There are people who learn to shut down their gut feelings. There are people who learn to quench their gut feelings. There are persons who just disobey them all the time. And so it's important for us to make a decision that if we're going to do what is best for ourselves, we're going to try to obey them every time. Now, that is my whole attitude towards gut feelings. But guess what? There isn't a day that I haven't disobeyed some of my gut feelings. And I always see what I've done wrong in retrospect. Now, this is common to all persons, so there's no need to beat up on ourselves when we don't do it right. What we need to do is learn from our mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the more opportunities you have to learn. And that's how I look at it. Consequently, I often speak to people about stuff that I've done, and they always come back with, you must have lived 5 lives or 10 lives. How could you have done so many things? I said, because I tried everything that comes into my mind. I just tried. And guess what? I guess I probably fail at 90% of what I try. But the 10% is so many that, as I usually tell people, I've done more things than anybody else I know. I'm sure there are myriads of people in the world who have done more things, right? But I just am voracious when it comes to trying new things. And I still do it every day. Every day I try something new. And most of them I fail. But guess what? I now have the experience of how not to do it. So I don't see any downside in that at all. Remember, there is truth in our inward path. So we have a guide. And we just have to try and follow that guide more often and more often and more often and more often. So it's not what I say, it's what is coming from you. Submit everything I say to that inside gut, and you'll get the right answer that is relevant to you every single time. It cannot fail. So those are some foundational principles that we need to bear in mind as we go forward with this program. So I want to look at the body systems, and I start with the enteric because that's the most important one. That's where our Creator speaks to us. Then the enteric system sends the information to the central nervous system, which is the brain and spinal cord, and to the immune system, which involves everything. It involves our protection, it involves our resistance, it involves our cleansing. The immune system is really our army to protect us, and when it's necessary, to go out and fight and kill off all the enemies. Right. Okay. So remember, the enteric gets the truth from the Creator, and then it sends it to the brain and the central nervous system. That's the brain, which is up here in the spinal cord, which goes right down the back and carries all the nerve network to the bottom of the spine, and then it sends those nerves down in the legs, and then it has another set that another bunch of nerves up here in the neck area, the top of the spinal cord, and that sends the nerves down into the arms. So everywhere, and then from the middle of the spinal cord at the back, the nerves go into all the other organs straight down. So there's a network of nerves and information. And the information that flows from the brain to all the rest of the body at the cellular level are sent in what we call neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are not nerve endings information jumping from one nerve to the next. They are chemicals that are carried in a liquid form, sending information, so that if something drops on your big toe and it's really very painful, then immediately, it's like faster than light, a neurotransmitter carries that pain into and says to your eyes, water. We need some water. What we call eye water. So your thing hits your toe, your eyes water. Why? Because right away, your body needs to expel and send to the big toe a neurotransmitter that is going to surround the damage with a cushioning, very likely cholesterol or mucus, that is going to now start the healing process immediately. And this is why you have these immediate reactions. This is a part of the immune system and the brain working together. So we've got the enteric, the brain, and the immune system. Those are the first primary three. I don't even want to call them primary three because they are all primary. You know why? You can't live without the next one, which is the pulmonary. The day you stop, the moment you stop breathing, right? You can go without oxygen, they say, for 4 minutes, but minute number 5, you're dead, right? Everything else shuts down. So they all are absolutely essential, right? So we looked at the 3: enteric, immune system, brain and spinal cord, that's the central nervous system. Then we look at the pulmonary, which is the respiratory or the breathing system, which involves the lungs and the air coming in, the fresh air coming in. And, we talk about breathing in oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide. That is just something we learned in school and is partial because we don't breathe in pure oxygen. We breathe in a combination of thousands, probably millions of nutrients that the major component in there is oxygen, but you also breathe in all these other nutrients. And the best place to get that is under a tree, because a tree breathes in the carbon dioxide and then it breathes out the oxygen or the fresh air or the, healthy air for you to breathe in that has all the components that you need. Because fresh air, as coming from a tree, is our first element of nutrition. Fresh air is nutrition. Okay. Secondly, the lungs provide a bellows for the next system, which is the cardiovascular system. And a lot of people say the heart is a pump. The heart is not a pump. The lungs are the pump for the heart. And the heart is a valve. So it opens and closes to allow the blood to flow. The valves open and close to allow the blood to flow in, through, away from, and come back around, right? However, it is the lungs that provides the, you notice that anytime there is palpitation of the heart, there's also agitated breathing because they work together. They can't go without each other. And you notice if something goes wrong with the heart, then you get water gathering in your lungs. It's totally linked. So the pulmonary, which is the lungs and the breathing and the whole respiratory system, supports the heart and the circulatory system. So when we look at cardiovascular system, it involves the heart and the circulation. And we're going to be looking at all of these 5 systems when we look at how do you heal cardiovascular stuff. We're not going to be looking at how do you heal cholesterol, different from heart attack, different from heart failure, different from whatever. You know, they are all one system. And what is good for one part, one condition, if you want to divide it into 15 conditions, you may. But it's the same thing that you need to heal all 15. So we're going to be looking at healing systems, right? Looking at healing the pulmonary, looking at healing the enteric, looking at healing the central nervous system and the immune system. So that's how we're going to be looking at the different systems when it comes to our self-healing body. Let's see where I am now. I will probably move to the next one, which is the digestive. And this is so mixed up with the digestive, the endocrine, which covers your hormones. And then it's also mixed up with the urinary and the reproductive. So I'm going to just put the digestive and endocrine together and the urinary and reproductive together, only for convenience, because they're all attached, but you have to look at them separately. Okay, so when we come for the digestive and the endocrine, this has to do with how nutrition, not food, nutrition is metabolized. And we're going to learn the 5 elements of nutrition. A lot of people think that nutrition comes from food. No, it's just one nutrition. Food is 1/5 of nutrition. Our nutrition comes from 5 elements: fresh air, pure water, sunlight, earth foods, that's the one we major on, and electromagnetic frequencies. Now, if you don't keep the 5 in balance, you will always have challenges. And that's how you balance your nutrition. Try and equal out all 5. That's how you balance your intake. And if you have perfect diet for your earth foods, you can die from anything. Diet is a contributory factor to everything, but so is fresh air, so is sunlight, so is electromagnetic frequencies. That's the energy that comes from the earth. And water. All of these things contribute. And so once you have gone through the different areas that contribute, you realize that it is the real challenge is keeping the balance. And it's easy to do once you know the principles. And I don't use how many I use of vitamin K, S, P, or Q. We look and learn how to get a perfect intake of all 5 elements of nutrition based on colors and quantities of intake of the 5 elements. How much water, how much fresh air, how much sunlight, how much earth foods, and how much electromagnetic frequencies. And that there are some that just are constantly coming in, like the fresh air. You're just constantly breathing, right? The others may have, decline. Are you hearing me out there? The call looked like it was from Zoom. So, Sir Wayne, could you give me a check-in if you're hearing me and if all is well?
I am hearing, Miss.
Okay, great. Because I just saw a call coming in from Zoom and okay, let's move on. So we are looking at the pulmonary, the digestive and endocrine, because as your food digests, and we were looking at the whole digestive system, and I would like you between now and the next session to get a chart of the body. I sent out charts on my KSN family WhatsApp, and you need to find out where your organs are, because most of us do not know where our organs are. And that is why most people mix up heartburn, which is a digestive issue, with heart attacks, because the heart overlaps the neck of the stomach going back up into the esophagus, right? The heart is here, and behind here is the neck of the stomach going up back into the esophagus. So it's the same place that you're going to get the pain. However, there are several things that differentiate if it's the heart from if it's the heartburn of the esophagus, right? Because you have certain things accompanying that pain, and you have certain things accompanying the other pain. So all of those diagnostic issues and principles will be shared so that you can find out what's going wrong or right long before your health professional can know. Am I telling you to diagnose for yourself? Absolutely not. I am just saying that you will have a heads up on what to do when you have any challenges, and be able to explain properly to your health professional what is going on. Because there are people who come and say, oh, my stomach. Your stomach is not up here, you know? So we need to now look at a chart and find out exactly what overlays what is behind what, where are your organs? Because a lot of people don't know where they are. They haven't a clue where their bladder is, right? As against other organs in the area. And that brings me on to the other one, urinary and reproductive. Now, why are they done together? Because they both utilize some of the same organs, right? And the urinary is a part of the digestive because it's a part of the eliminatory organs. And however, those same organs are a part of your reproductive. So you see that just like how you have an overlay of the heart and the neck of the stomach going back up into your esophagus, right? You have the same duality of purpose in a lot of the organs between the urinary and the reproductive. But again, while the vaginal area is where you both deliver a baby and deliver urine, or should I say expel urine, there are other things that are associated with the reproductive that will differentiate it. And there are other things that will differentiate it with the whole urinary, which is now the kidney function. So the womb would be the one to associate what's going on with your reproductive, while the kidneys will be the one related to the urinary. So see, everything is sort of so intertwined that whenever you are dealing with a challenge, it is absolutely essential that you recognize the contributory factor of all these different organs. So it sounds now that it's sort of complicated, because if you have a heart attack, I am telling you, every organ, every system that I just spoke about is defective. You cannot have a heart attack unless every other system has contributed to it. So when you have a heart attack, you can't just treat the heart attack. You can't just treat the heart and the cardiovascular system. You've got to now go back and repair what is going wrong in all the other 7 systems. And that is what you will be getting information on, how to identify those things. Okay, I think I've gotten to 8 o'clock. So it means it's time for questions, but I just want to go into the questions segment, in fact, for about another 15 to 20 minutes. Because at this point, I am really just pouring in information, right? I looked at the 5 elements of nutrition, and I think one system I forgot, the musculoskeletal. Musculoskeletal. That means it is the bones, the ligaments, the muscles, the tendons, and everything that gives you mobility. I'd sent out a few days ago the purpose of bones and what bones do. I'd also sent out the day before that the purpose of blood and what blood does. And it was just amazing. A lot of people said, wow, I didn't know that we make all those things in our blood or in our bones. You know, it's amazing. The bones are a manufacturing plant. It manufactures all different cells. It manufactures, it's just really a manufacturing plant inside the bones. What we call the bone marrow, it is just producing this, that, and sending it out in the bloodstream. So you see the interrelationship between the bones and the bloodstream. And those are the things that we need to understand, so that when we come on to healing yourself, you are totally cognizant of the processes that you need to look at. I had a friend who came by me the other day, and I said, oops, you've lost quite a bit of weight. And that's wonderful. And she says, I'm coming down from 200 plus, and I'm now 170. I said, how tall are you? She said, 5'8", 5'9". I said, oh, I'm about the tallest. Very, very good. She says, the only thing troubling me now is my eyes. Nothing else but my eyes. I said, what? I said, absolutely not. If your eyes are giving you a problem, I can tell you 5 other systems that are out of whack. So we need to be able to do that connectivity for ourselves, so that we don't say, oh, I just want something for my eyes. And the issue that we are going to be looking at when we come on to disease reversal principles is that the way to reverse a disease is a 3-step program, which I'm going to tell you what it is now. First of all, you have to find the contributory factors and stop them, not cut them down. Stop them. Because if you have gone to a threshold where there's a diagnosis, it means that one little bit more is going to make you always get worse. So when you find contributory factors, you have to make a mindset. I'm going to cut it out. You may not be able to cut it out, but once you decide, I am trying to cut it out, and you start the process of trying to cut it out, whether you reduce it incrementally or not. But you will always be contributing to it unless you stop. So the first step in our disease reversal program is stop. Stop the contributory factors. And then the second thing is to cleanse the defective cells out of the body. That means that every disease or negative condition is characterized by what we call D cells. Decayed, diseased, defective, deficient, dead, you name it. They're all cells that are not functioning at their optimal. And once cells do not repair, organs repair, systems repair, but cells do not repair. They live their lifespan, they die, and they are replaced. So the first thing you do in the healing process is not to take something in, but to get rid of that which is going to, has been clogging you up, etc. So the first thing we do is identify the contributory factors, and then we cleanse, get rid of. So the second thing is cleanse. Stop, cleanse, and then build. Find out what is deficient in the immune system. And once you do that, then it means that you can start to build. But don't start to build your immune system before you cleanse, because all you'll be doing is feeding the bad bacteria, feeding the deficient cells. So it's stop the contributory factors, cleanse the defective cells out of the body. And we don't do organ cleanses. What I've developed is a product that does cellular cleansing. And we'll teach you how to make it and how to move all the cells out. So stop, cleanse, and build. That's the disease reversal. And then when we come on to the cellular health maintenance, which is the third week in our segment here, we learn what makes a healthy cell, right? Healthy cells are made by understanding what cells eat, what environment cells operate in, what exercise cells need, and what communication. So we have to learn those four things about cells. What cells eat, cell food, cell environment, cell exercise, and cell communication. So we want to keep those four in tip-top shape. And know when you are poisoning your cells, as against when you're feeding them, because not everything you put into your mouth as food feeds or strengthens or helps. A lot of them break down and poison you. Okay, so we're going to look at foods that heal, foods that harm, right? I think I covered all systems, the musculoskeletal, and of course the bones and the muscles keep your give you mobility. You're able to move, right? And it also, well, bones, as I told you, they manufacture everything in your bones. All cells are manufactured in your bones, right? And then it is distributed around the body to wherever it is needed, stem cells and all those cells. All right, I think we have covered everything there in terms of the systems. And when we come on to purpose is when we will do a lot of the linkages between body, soul, and spirit, right? Because every condition starts in the spirit realm because of your misalignment with your creator. And then it percolates through the soulish realm, which is your relationships that you have with other persons. And then it just appears up in your body. So trying to fix that from the body is just putting on a Band-Aid. The only way to fix it is to go back through the soulish realm into the spiritual realm and say, no, where was I misaligned with the truth that is in my belly bottom? The truth that is going to give me the ability to do this. All right, I've taken 13 of my 15 minutes. So I have 2 more minutes. And then ask questions. All right, so I gave an introduction to the cellular health maintenance. I gave an introduction to the disease reversal principles. And now I'm going to just tell you the things about immunology. I mentioned about that before, but I just want to tell you that the moving out of through your eliminatory organs of the poisons out of your body is the essence of healing, right? Cleansing is the essence of healing. You don't get healed or get cured by taking something in. You get healed by letting the bad stuff out. And you need to learn the 4 wastes that need to be eliminated on a timely basis. They are your gaseous waste, which is eliminated through your breathing. They are your gaseous liquid waste, which is eliminated not just through your breathing, but not just through your urine, but more is eliminated through your sweat than your urine. And it also is, I'm talking, and there's a lot of elimination of liquid waste through my saliva, flying, right? Can't prevent it. That's how it goes out. Pores and everywhere else that any waste comes out, water has to be in it, or else it cannot exist. Liquid waste. And then there is gaseous, liquid, solid from your bowels. And we need to know what quantity and what it's supposed to look like, you know? So we can analyze every time and say for ourselves, okay, I need some more of this coming out and how to do it, etc. So that's the immunology. And then the 4th one is the mucus. You cannot ever correct mucus issues at the mucus level. You've got to correct it at the other 3 because your mucus is a result, excess mucus is a result of the other 3 not letting out what they should in a timely fashion. And so it piles up and coagulates in your sinus cavities, and your sinus cavity and your mucous membranes. Mucous membranes are all over your body, right? We will learn what are lymph nodes, how do they factor in the whole thing. You will just learn about your body and how it works and what makes it better or worse. Okay, any questions?
Shalom, Doc.
Shalom.
All right, so I sent you a text saying that your 30 minutes was used up, but I would ask a question just now. That's okay?
What do you mean my 30 minutes are used up? It's now 8:16. I said that I would stop at 8:15.
No, you wanted a 30-minute time stamp from 7:20 to 7:39.
Okay.
So I sent you a text, but I realized that you were engrossed, so I'm just verbalizing that. But that's okay. That's okay. I wanted to ask.
It's time for questions. Also, go right ahead.
All right. I'm going back to Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Every time he was about to heal someone, he always asks, do you believe? There seems to be a correlation between a person being healed and their faith, and quite logically, with all the elements that you have just shared. Can you expound on that?
Well, you see, the issue of understanding belief, right? I usually use my amplified. And, you know, John 3:16, right? It says, if you believe on the Lord, thou shalt be saved, right? But the word belief
of the world.
Pardon me? Yeah.
John
The word,
3:16, for God so loved the world.
say that again.
For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son.
I'm not hearing you clearly.
They are saying, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. John 3:16.
Yes, yeah, but I'm talking about the part that says believe.
Okay,
says-
carry on. I'm going to mute.
All right, thank you. All right, it says, whoever believes in, and listen to the meaning of the word believe, trusts in, clings to, relies on, activates, should not perish, but come to destruction, or be lost, but have eternal, everlasting life. Now, the issue of belief is one that will stimulate you to act on. You understand? So you cling to. So it is a concept I was saying about truth is in your inward parts. So there is no lack of information on what is the right thing to do and how to do it. There's none. We sit down and chat a whole pile of foolishness about, I wish God would talk to me. God talks continuously, non-stop. You just need to stop, listen, sit down and listen, get into a quiet space. The issue of belief is a decision. It is not a emotion. It is a decision. And so if you are going to receive anything, you've got to decide, first of all, where is it coming from? I said everything I say, I want you to submit to your gut, where the spirit resides, in your belly bottom. And whatever the gut tells you is how you're going to run. Now, then you can decide, I am going to believe what the God tells me and I'm going to act on it. And as I explained initially, I don't always. I hear it because I've trained myself to listen. I hear it every time. A lot of times I disobey because I have all sorts of excuses. None of them I don't even want to tell. But the issue is that I've decided that I am going to believe and I'm going to do everything I hear out of my gut. And it's a progression. You understand? So I just keep trying. I feel sometimes.
Roles, others with expertise in the agency's technology systems. The network outages are one in a cascade of blows to customer service.
Why am I hearing this person's conversation?
Operations as
Let me see if I can listen to she's sharing something. I don't know if
an
it's
expansion initiated by the Trump team. The Trump technology staff
There is somebody coming in on this
against a
thing,
high volume of
sir.
tickets to see if the servers could
Somebody's
handle
open there,
connectivity issues
and there is a whole conversation going on which is disrupting this, Sir Wayne.
Yeah, I'm just trying to mute that person.
Please mute everybody except me. Thank you. I don't know why you aren't muting Juliet Dunbar.
yes, I'm here.
Hi, Juliet. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Wonderful. Could you kindly, do you know how to mute yourself? You can keep the video going, but Now everybody's video is off. I don't know why.
Oh,
Do you know how to mute yourself, Juliet?
oh yeah, let me, yeah, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Great. But you don't want to mute the video, don't you want to see the video? So press on that one. Okay, good. Wonderful. All right. Moving right along. So the issue of belief is a decision. It's a choice that we all have to make. It's a choice that we all have to make, that we are going to activate what we hear in our gut. And the challenge is just doing it more and more often. That's all. Any other questions? Any questions going once? Any questions going twice? No questions from anybody on the call?
Dr. Joe,
Yes.
good night.
How are
So-
you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thanks.
Awesome. So I don't have a question, but I'm still musing on when you said that breather diseases, they are not just, for in layman's terms, physical, but is connected to soul and spirit as well.
Oh, well, we will look at that. We will look at that when we look at the three causes of disease. The three causes of disease are the three contributory factors. Every disease is, and I'm glad you brought up that question, is nutritional deficiency, nutritional deficiency. The second is toxicity, meaning toxins that have not been passed out of the body, right? That's what toxicity means. It does not mean that you have taken in more poisons than anybody else. It's just that it has not been passed out. All toxicity issues or poisonous issues are because you haven't passed it out. Because all of us have good and bad cells. We have issues and a lot of poisons or waste or excess. All of them are the same thing. Poisons, toxins, waste, excess, all contributed to the toxicity of our body. And it means that you have too much of this, so it doesn't balance out and your chemicals are not made properly, right? So the toxicity is the second contributory factor. The third contributor factor is stress, right? Every disease has a little bit of all three. And that is why you have to connect it to the body, soul, and spirit. That means that the reason, for instance, the soulish realm is an area that we have all our emotions, our will, our choices and decisions, our relationships. All of this happens in the soulish realm. And if it happens in that realm, then one, we need to understand the association between emotions and chemicals, because all emotions exude chemicals. And if you are happy about something, then the healing chemicals start to flow through your body. If you are angry or fearful or any other negative emotion, then that produces harmful chemicals that poison your system and engage deterioration at the cellular level that affects that organ. You understand what I just said, or would you like me to repeat it?
I fully understand it.
You understand it?
Fully understand.
All right. So that is a connection between the body and the soul. Now, the connection between the soul and the spirit is that, not the soul, the body and the spirit, is that we have truth in the inward parts. If you don't believe that, it's the word. I have placed truth in your inward parts. That's what our Creator said when He created us. And if we disobey that truth and do something that we know we should not do, which is something that I do every day. Every time I'm about to put dairy ice cream into my mouth, I have friends come from abroad, I carry them down to, what you call the place? Devon House, okay? And we all have ice cream. And every time I put that ice cream into my mouth, I know that I'm damaging my body. I know I'm going to have mucus the next day. I know that this is not going to work right the next day. What have I done? I have disobeyed the truth in my inward parts. That is a spiritual issue. All stress issues are caused by misalignment with the spirit of your Creator. Every stress. Stress is not a psychological condition. It is a spiritual condition. It means that the spirit has said to you in your belly bottom, do not do this. Do not turn here. Forget that appointment. Do it, whatever. And you have not listened to it. So you go straight into the problem. Remember, I said earlier you probably weren't on yet. A curse, sickness, does not come without a cause. And so this is why this program is about finding the cause. And the cause is always, you can trace it from the body back through the soul by your choices and decisions, back into the spirit by your disobedience to the dictates of the spirit. So that makes it a spiritual issue. So while I focus first of all on correcting the body and the nutritional deficiencies, that is correcting the body, and looking at the toxicities, which are not all generated from physical stuff. You have toxic relationships, which are in the soulish realm, and you have toxic stress, which is in the spiritual realm. They are all contributing to an illness. If you do not have toxic relationships and toxic stress, then you cannot get sick, because the body has a capacity to heal every physical issue while you sleep, if it's only physical. But it is only the toxic stress, which is a spiritual thing, and the toxic relationships, and it's not just relationships with others, relationship with yourself, that exudes, you're angry with yourself, you're fearful, all those exudes all these harmful chemicals that mash up your cells and whichever organ those cells are. And let me tell you something, the same toxicity of any sort, or nutritional deficiency for that matter, will mash up different cells in different people because we are working with individuals who have different environments and, very importantly, different genetic predispositions. And this is why you will always go down in the area that your family has passed down in your DNA to you a particular disease. So 5 of us face the same stress, but 5 different things go down in us. So one of the things in this course is to learn the weaknesses that each individual has based on genetic predisposition. Mine is pulmonary. I've had everything pulmonary. Adenoids, tonsils, pneumonia, bronchitis, every known pulmonary condition, disease condition I've had. And I still am prone to them. So I just pay attention. I know I'm going, when cheese, you see, Easter come, I make my own cheese, right? I go out and they're serving a little bun and cheese. I have a slice. Well, I have to come home and do something about it. You understand? So be aware of your genetic predispositions so that you know what to do immediately. You have gone off course to counteract, so that you don't have to live in an environment where you say, Lord, I can't eat this, I can't do this, I can't do that. You must know where your limits are, how much to do, when to back off, what is challenging, and this is what we're going to help you with. I hope I answered you.
You have, thank you.
You're welcome. I think our time is probably, yes, it's gone, but I can give you another 5 minutes if there's anybody else with a pressing question. Going once.
Can you keep your phone like that, Dr. Chung? I'm seeing you right side up when you do it that way.
Like this?
Yes.
Yeah. What you see me now?
Sideways.
Oh my goodness, it's wind telling us turn it landscape, you know. And here it is, I don't know what's going on. I am not.
Thank you.
Oh my
You're muted now.
You're muted, Doc.
Thank you. Okay. No more urgent questions, because next week now we're going to the details of immunology. And the following week we're going to the details of disease reversal, and then the following week we do cellular health maintenance. And by the time you get to that, you are an expert on yourself. So between now and next week, I want you to list every known condition that you are aware of for yourself, that you have had from you can think about it. And I don't want anything less than 70, 80, 90. I have actually, I should recommend that you guys get a copy of this book, Earl's 7 Simple Steps to Healing and Health. It's available on Amazon or from me. It's $2,500 from me. It lands at 3,000 something from Amazon. But it has in it all of the stuff that we're going to cover in these 4 sessions. And it also has a toxicity assessment in it. That means it gives you the opportunity to assess 400 conditions that you possibly have had. And that's for my private clients. I recommend that they go through that list they take the things that they have been exposed to, because anything that you have been exposed to, you have in your system. So if your neighbor had it or a co-worker had it, you have some of those cells in your system. You just breathe it in, right? So when we come to toxicity, we need to know everything that impacted us so that we can get rid of it, right? All right, yes. So I want you to make a list of that and find out anybody in your office or in your anywhere that anybody else you want to interact with and help during this program. Find out the things that they have, the major things they grapple with. Because one of the things that we're going to learn in this session and this whole program is cause, right? And as I said to people, if you tell me you have high blood pressure, I can tell you 5 other things. If you tell me your eye's not working, I can tell you 8 other things that are not working. If you tell me you have a problem with X, you need to be able to get to that place where you are able to self-diagnose. I am not recommending that you do not go to the doctor, but you need to be able to explain properly to any health professional what is going on, so that they are not, they can only diagnose based on information that you give them. So it's really about knowing your body and knowing what is happening and knowing what is causing what, right? So that you can do the right thing, right? And help yourself, right? Too many people are getting help from a health professional, but they are counteracting the help, and very often in ignorance, right? Because they are reading all this junk on the oh, my phone is falling. They're reading all this junk on the internet. There is so much junk on the internet about health that it's just really ridiculous. That's all I have to say. Ridiculous. And every minute somebody, oh, should I do the pineapple? Should I do the pineapple thing? It gets rid of cancer. I said, did a lack of pineapple cause your cancer? How can pineapple get rid of your cancer? Did the lack of pineapple cause your cancer? You have to understand that whatever causes your issue, we'll heal it by removing it. So there are different principles that we have to learn. And not because somebody had pineapple and it helps with their cancer, it means that it's going to work for you. The pineapple might just have the one thing that they have been lacking all along. So, understanding how to assess health information is also a very, very important part of this whole program. Well, thank you all very much. And remember to get that list of everything that you have ever thought about going wrong, because I'm going to be going through different things and explaining you what started it. And then I'm going to teach you how to identify the cause. I remember we spoke about 3 causes: nutritional deficiency, toxicity, and stress. We'll be looking at quantities. How much came from stress? How much comes from toxicity? How much comes from nutritional deficiency? So that you don't just always say, what good for this? Ain't nothing good for this. The only thing good for anything and everything is cleansing. And I don't mean the detoxing thing where you're going to have diarrhea. We'll be learning about that too. Our own cleansing program for individuals that you develop for yourself. And that's what I'm going to shut down on today. And thank you so much. It has been a very stimulating time. I'm always energized by sharing this information. And try and get as many people as you possibly can. Invite everybody on your network to come on and take advantage of this, because it's free for 4 weeks. After that, we're going to be admitting people to the sessions from May. So shalom, shalom, shalom. Thanks for joining us. It's Dr. Cheryl Chung from Kingdom Shift Now, shifting families and nations into kingdom lifestyle. Join me next week when we will be looking at Immunology 101. Thanks for being with us. And thanks so much for I Am That I Am, a Kingdom Network, my kingdom brother. And we are changing
Thank
the
you,
world
Doc.
the way God intended, going out and making disciples of the kingdom. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week.
Shalom, shalom.